Ladies, welcome. I'm Stefano, and today we're going to be learning in depth on how to manage your stress for ultimate weight loss. 1 second. How to manage your stress for ultimate weight loss, right? And how stress impacts your weight loss and causes weight gain. Um, so that's what we're going to be going in depth about today, ladies, right? Um, and I'm also going to attach a document just for some breathing exercises as well, just for people, if they get stressed, just follow these little breathing exercises, and you can, de-stress with that. I've just made some notes here. And then I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you ladies how it impacts, and show you the diet cycle as well and how stress impacts your weight. Um, so the first thing is how to reduce your stress levels, right? The number one thing is deep breathing exercises, right? Let's see if we can get these on the board. Breathing exercises. Can you see that? It might be back to front actually. We won't use the board. But right, so deep breathing exercises, great way to bring the heart rate down and just level, and compose yourself. That's one way of de-stressing. It works for me as well. That's one of the documents I'm going to attach to this video for you lovely ladies out there. I'm going to attach a document with some breathing exercises, right? Meditation. Now, I know a lot of people oppose of this or go, oh, meditation, blah, blah, blah. It truly does work, right? Don't knock something if you haven't tried it yourself. I personally meditate, and it works wonders, right? Trust me, meditation is a big, big one. Obvious one, working out. So working out actually, produces all them good chemicals in your brain, the endorphins, all stuff like that, just to de-stress. Yeah. So working out is a great way to de-stress. Music. So when you wake up in the morning, get your favourite tunes on, ladies. Get your favourite tunes on, right? And de-stress. Dance the morning away. Get your favourite tunes on, and get ready to take on the day, and smash it. Music is a big, big one. It can connect with all different emotional levels and what you're going through in life. So, music is a brilliant one. If you do have deeper problems, certain exercises and de-stressing exercises can't work with. I highly recommend counselling, physio, psychology and stuff like that. Going to see a psychiatrist. It's a great way just to get your problems out in the open and talk about them with someone that you trust. Take a time out. Now, I know it's hard. Some people I speak to, some women I speak to have kids, have a job. But I'm sure if you're at work and you're stressing out, your boss won't mind. I know I don't. But your boss won't mind you taking a little 5-minute break, just so you're going to the toilet, or just to cool down if you are feeling a bit stressed. If you do have kids, bring them on board, and make it a bit of a fun activity and say, look, we're going to do this, let's de-stress this way, and this, time out. Organization. I always say this, right? Organization is the key to success, right? Organization, de-stresses you. If everything's manic in your home, you're gonna feel highly stressed all the time, right? And that's not good, right? Sleep pattern as well. If your sleep pattern's everywhere, it's going to have a major impact on your stress levels if you don't do something to de-stress. Meditation, breathing exercises, working out, so they're the things that you can use and implement into your life. That some of them you probably already knew, but I just wanted to run through a couple, just to give you ladies an idea of what you can do to de-stress, right? So now I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you more in depth on how your stress levels impact your weight. So yeah, let's go and jump straight into it, right? Let's jump straight into it. So let me just share my screen quick with you lovely ladies, right? Here we go. So the number one thing is, right? Let me just make this a bit bigger. So this is the stress cycle, right? Right, 1 second. This is the stress cycle, right, ladies? So you're here, you're stressed, right? There's a hormone called cortisol, right? Now this is the hormone that you need to keep control of whilst you're losing weight. This is just a quick example of how it really works. You have an increase in that hormone, right? Cortisol. Then what you do is you start getting irritable and anxious, right? You have trouble sleeping, it affects your sleep pattern, and then it shifts your metabolism. So if you watched last week or the week before, I went in depth about your metabolism and how you can get it peaked and what it is and how it impacts your weight loss. So if you don't know what that is, go and watch that. But yeah, trouble sleeping then impacts your metabolism. And then you start comfort eating, right? Then you start gaining weight and then increasing body fat, and you go around again because you're getting stressed about putting on weight. It goes round and round again. Now, to break this cycle, stress is one of the big things we work on in my program, and it is a major factor on your weight gain. It's not as simple as eating correctly and exercising. Stress is a major impact, especially with women as well. So this is the stress cycle on how it affects your diet, right? We're just going to close this down. And this is 5 ways stress makes fat loss harder, right? It makes it difficult to keep long-term goals front of mind because you're stressing out. And you're, like I just said, you're not sleeping properly, then you start binge eating crap. It makes them long-term goals even harder to believe, right? Like I just touched upon, it slows down your metabolism by suppressing your thyroid production. Now, women with hypothyroidism will understand this a bit more, but it does slow down your thyroid production. So yeah. Interferes with sleep, like we just went across. Sleep is a major factor. If you're not getting enough sleep or you're sleeping too much, it's the same with anything. It has a major impact on your weight gain, right? And then, like we just said, it intensifies your hunger and cravings. I always say to people, if you've got stuff in the cupboard, get rid of it, because that temptation, if you do hit this, is not there. It's harder to get, right? So, ladies, if you've got all, putting it bluntly, crap in the cupboard, get rid of it and swap it for colourful food. And then, yeah. So stress drains your energy, so you're too tired to work out, or when you do work out, you're not having a proper workout, right? So this is why stress impacts your weight loss and causes weight gain. There's just another quick example I want to show you. It's sort of the same thing, but more in depth. The diet cycle of despair. Now, most of you ladies, you probably would have experienced this on one level or another, right? So this is how it works, right? So your weight increases, yeah, right? Shame increases, right? And then you start going, I'm not the weight or the shape I want to be. A new weight loss idea, you start that, whether it's these magic diet pills, that don't work, or you start starving yourself. It's not sustainable for the rest of your life. And then you start, believing that this one could, work. You start believing, oh yeah, this diet pill will work because I've tried all the rest, or, starving myself will work because I haven't tried that before. And then we go on to, you know, I just can't do this today. It's impossible to stick to. You know, shame, guilt, regret. Then you go back to the weight increase and you start being shameful again. And then we go round in a loop again, ladies. You know, this is how stress has a major impact on your weight gain. It's just going to be a quick one today. You know, quick is like 10-20 minutes long. But yeah, so we focus on stress in our program. You know, it is a big factor. We focus on stress and how to manage it, stress management skills, and there's other factors as well that come into play. But if I gave you ladies everything in this group, you know, I wouldn't have a program to sell. But yeah, what I'm going to do, ladies, right, is I'm going to attach a document to this live video if I can. If I can't, what I'll do is I'll just post it up on one of the comments, and whoever wants it can download it and follow it. It's just a little breathing exercise. You know, it's nothing major, but it will help you. I know it's helped me and many other people I've given it to. Just to de-stress. You know, if you've got it on your phone, it might seem a bit weird at the start, or when you start doing it, or people might look at you a bit funny. But it is a brilliant breathing exercise, ladies, and it will just calm your heart rate down, them stress levels, and just get you into that zone again of wanting to push through. But yeah, I just wanted to do a quick live video on this, ladies, right? Because so many people, so many personal trainers, so many fitness so-called coaches out there don't focus on stress in their programs, and it's one of the big factors that you need to focus on to get people or women losing weight and keeping it sustainable for the rest of their life. You know, if you lose weight and you don't know how to manage your stress levels, you know, you're going to go back into that cycle I just showed you. You know, like you're going to go round and you're going to, you know, it's going to end up like that. Shame starts out new, you know. So yeah, if you ladies want to chat about it, if you want to, you know, more in depth about my program or solid answers to how to deal with things, you know, hit me a DM, you know, inbox me, send me a message. Let's have a chat. Don't be scared. I'm not going to buy it. And yeah, I hope you all have a brilliant week. And tomorrow, let's start smashing the week from tomorrow. If you ain't already, if you are, keep up the brilliant work, and let's smash it. You know, let's go for it. You only live once, so let's do this, ladies. You know, but until next time, take care, and have a brilliant week.